I hit record on mine too.
Let's see, do we have 1, 2, 3, who all do we have? Did you get your copy, Karen? You have to turn on your mic. Yeah. Okay, people, it's time to go. Good evening and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, August the 18th, 2020. The time is now 6 p.m. We are now in a go-to meeting. For anyone that is listening or watching, first of all, would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For anyone that is listening in and that you may want to comment during the where is that here? Under the petitions or communications, if you want to either chat in or raise your hand or something, that maybe we might be able to address your comments or listen to what your comments may be. Could we have a roll call, please?
Bono?
Here.
Goodall?
Here.
Daniel?
Here.
Ogletree? Ogletree?
She's muted and she's waving.
Sorry?
You unmute her?
Okay, Angela. Here. Stu?
Here.
Williamson?
Here.
Rico?
Here. Item 2, approval of the agenda. Does council have any changes to the agenda that they would like to make? If not, I would like to entertain the motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Call the vote.
Bono?
Yes.
Goodall?
Yes.
Diego?
Yes.
Ogletree?
Yes.
Stu?
Yes.
Williamson?
Yes.
Rico?
Yes. Item 3, policy items and staff reports. Mr. Valentine, do you have anything from staff, or is anybody on staff that has a comment?
Nothing for report there, thank you.
Okay. Petitions or communications, oral or written? I don't see anything coming through. Item 5, consent agenda approval. Item 5A, approval of the regular meeting minutes of August the 4th, 2020. Item B, reappointment of Charlene Tortoreese to the Trinidad Housing Authority, and I don't know if Ms. Tortoreese is listening in or not. Under the current circumstances, it's not necessary that she be listening in. Item C, approval of bills, the amount of $1,155,123.51. Item D, approval of payroll, August the 8th, 2020 through August the 21st, 2020, in the amount of $374,395.41. Entertain a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Call a vote, please.
Cabana,
Yes.
Biddle,
Yes.
Grego,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Stu,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Rico.
Yes. Item 6, public hearings. 6A, New Hell Hotel and Restaurant liquor license application filed by BJ&Y Restaurant Incorporated at 900 West Adams Street. Sanjeev Dugal is the operator. Hearing is now open. Mr. Dugal, I'm going to have Les. He will be asking you some questions. So, Les, go ahead and talk to me or ask Mr. Dugal his questions.
Yeah, Mayor, thank you. May I please have Ms. Garrett administer an oath? If I could please, since Mr. Gall is going to be giving testimony to this hearing, please.
Mr. DeGaulle, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Oh, well, don't repeat after me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Mr. DeGaulle, good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, and sir, I know we've spoken on the phone. By way of introduction, I am Les Downs and I am the city attorney. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and if you don't understand my questions or I confused you, please let me know, okay?
Thank you, I will. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now, Mr. Dugal, your first name, I know you go by Paulster, but your first name is indicated on the application is, I believe, Sanjeev. I think that's S-A-N-J-I-V.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just want to make sure we have the same person as it's indicated on the application. Mr. Dugal, you were here, I believe, representing the applicant corporation, which is B as in boy, J as in Joseph, and Y as in yellow, Restaurant Inc. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Dugal, I know from reviewing your application, you indicate that you were the 100% owner and operator of that corporation. Is that also correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Dugal, I just want to say, as you and I were talking about, because of the type of organization that is, you may need another principal, you may need another person as an officer and a director on the corporation, just to make it legal. But I just make sure you look into that possibility, since I cannot give you legal advice. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. Duval, now let me get to the kind of heart of the matter, and that is, you are asking on behalf of your corporation for a hotel and restaurant liquor license of this council. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's at 900 West Adams Street in Trinidad?
That is correct.
Okay, and sir, so council, it's clear in case they don't know, is that the Days Inn premises?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this proposal, this premises, this would be for the restaurant that's connected with the Days Inn, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Dugal, I want you to please tell council, do you have experience in the state of Colorado on any other liquor license?
Yes, sir, I do. I owned a liquor store from two liquor stores from 2011 to 2019.
Okay. So you were wanting to have the restaurant connected with this hotel, is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
And a liquor license, obviously, in connection with the operation of the restaurant, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Dugal, again, I want to ask you this question previously, I mean, not tonight, but when we spoke previously, but has there been a liquor license at that premises previously, if you know?
Yes, sir, that's my understanding. There's been a restaurant license as well as a liquor license for this facility.
Okay. Do you know the requirements and the legal requirements of having a hotel and restaurant liquor license?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You understand that you can't sell or serve alcohol to minors, visibly intoxicated people. You understand also that you will have a food requirement for this type of liquor license, and obviously contemplating that. But you understand those legal requirements, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Dugal, you rent, I believe, the facility is owned by BJ&Y Lodging Inc. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And is it safe for me to assume that you own that corporation as well?
Yes, sir. Me and my wife, we share. I'm 75% and she's 25% in that business.
Okay, so she is on that corporation, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. But BJ&Y Restaurant Inc. is renting for BJ&Y Lodging Inc. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Both Colorado corporations, both in good standing in the state of Colorado?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Dugal, how many people would you employ, how many people are you hoping to employ when the restaurant is up and running?
I would assume between 10 plus, depending on the requirement, depending on the how busy we are. It may increase even 20.
How many of those people, if you know, how many people will be permitted to sell alcohol? Be alcohol servers or people selling alcohol, if you know?
Yes, sir. Only above 21-year age, they can serve alcohol if they are only tip certified. If they're tip certified, I will get all my employees get tip certified at, as long as they're 21 years of age.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at, and I think there are exceptions. People that are under 21 sometimes can serve alcohol, but I don't need to go down that road. You will have your employees who are responsible for handling alcohol all be tips trained. Is that fair to say, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Now, I want to ask you, did you know that property, that address, is zoned community commercial? Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And let me ask you, sir, I know from your application, you talk about, and some of the inspection reports talk about, that the premises is still under modification. Is that correct? You have work on. Okay. And how long do you anticipate that structure, that work will be going on?
Well, it's just the touch-ups, basically the floor. I'm just redoing the floor I did the kitchen. Now I'm doing the floor for dining area. And that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So after like a couple of months, I think I'll be over.
Okay. Do you have an estimated target date, sir? I mean, a target of opening?
Right, I'm targeting for a month and a half from now, we should have everything in place. But due to the, pandemic and, circumstances around, the labor force, being a small town, sometimes it's hard to find labor. So I'm diligently working with, all our contractors to get it done as soon as possible.
Okay. You understand you have to have your certificate of occupancy before you can
Yes, sir.
begin operating. All right, okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. DeGaulle, I want to make sure you understand that if you're given a liquor license by city council, you know that you're the one who is responsible for that liquor license. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you are accused of violating the liquor laws of the state of Colorado, you can have that liquor license revoked either by Trinidad or by the state of Colorado. You understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I want to ask you, there's a petition that's been submitted as part of your application. Can you tell us who it was that was primarily responsible for the circulating of that petition, sir?
For petition work, one of my employees, she's very, instrumental in doing the PR work. She helped me to conduct that petition, sir.
Okay, so you had one of your employees circulate the petition against signatures, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And mayor and council members, if my math is correct, I believe there are 58 signatures on the petition. 2, I believe, were stricken. So I think there are 56 people who signed in favor of the petition. I don't believe there are any no or opposing signatures in the petition. Is that your understanding, Mr. DeGaulle?
Pardon me, sir?
Well, never mind, sir. That's okay. But, sir, do you have anything you want to ask or say to council before I turn this over to them for questions?
All I want to say is that I want to, be part of the community and be proactively part of the community and, try to bring as much revenue, because I'm moving here, so I want to bring more revenues with whatever business intelligence I have to provide, our own city of Trinidad in good standing and good, whatever the best I can do to inject the economy.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Mayor and council members, I should say also for the record that the criminal histories were submitted and returned, and Mr. DeGaulle has no criminal history either on the state or federal level. Yes, he has no criminal history whatsoever. So I have nothing else, Mayor and council members. If you have questions of the applicant.
Okay, we'll turn it over to Ms. Grego. Do you have any questions for Mr. DeGaulle?
Just one very simple one, Mr. DeGaulle. Are you going to have the restaurant open to the public? Is it just for patrons of your hotel?
To the public, ma'am.
Okay, good. That's all.
Mr. Shu?
No, I don't have any questions, just, good luck, I hope it works out for you real well.
Ms.
Thank you,
Ogletree?
sir. I appreciate that.
Ms. Ogletree?
Mr. DeGaulle, is this new construction that you're doing, or is it a remodeling of a restaurant that was there before?
Yes, remodeling of the restaurant that was there before.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. DeBono?
No, just good luck with everything, hope everything works out for you.
Mr.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Williamson?
Mr. Duval, I was wondering, what hours of operation are you planning for the eating establishment?
Well, the hours that will be, it's up to the city of Trinidad. Whatever hours they'll ask me to operate, I'll operate under their guidance.
Well, I was just curious as to, are you going to be serving breakfast through dinner, or what are you?
Breakfasts are basically, the hotel side of it, and they will be continue serving as we are now. But the restaurant will be lunch and dinner,
Okay.
so is the bar.
Okay. That's all the questions I have, Mr.
Okay. Mr. Goodall?
No questions. Good luck, sir. I remember eating there before when it was open, so I'm hoping you get her going again. We can always use another restaurant.
Thank you, sir, and I'll do my best to revive those memories.
I don't have any questions, but I do have a question for Les. You mentioned that he has to add one more person to his to complete his corporation. That's not an issue at this point in time.
It is not, Mayor. It is not. The applicant is not rendered illegal. It is more of a matter that he just needs to get in compliance with. He needs to add a director or an officer. I think I already said that, but it does not mean that his corporation cannot hold this liquor license.
Okay.
But it's a good question. I appreciate that, Mayor.
Mr. DeGaulle, I just wanted to say that that place was a liquor establishment as well as a dining place. In my younger days, we used to go there and dance and have a good time. So hopefully you can resurrect that and make a good go of it. So.
Yes, sir. I am definitely planning, and I need all of your support to make that happen. And I do appreciate your time and everything that you have spent with me to make this happen.
Okay, that being said, is there anybody that wants to speak for or against this liquor license application? If not, hearing is closed. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved. So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion from council? Call the vote, please.
Sabano?
Yes.
Goodall?
Yes.
Grego?
Yes.
Ogletree?
Yes.
Duke?
Yes.
Williamson?
Yes.
Rico?
Yes. Ms. Grego, would you please read the findings?
Yes, sir. This matter came on for hearing on the application of BJ&Y Restaurant Incorporated, 900 West Adams Street in Trinidad, Colorado, for a new hotel and restaurant license before the City Council of the City of Trinidad, Colorado, acting in its capacity as the local licensing authority on August 18, 2020 in City Council chambers in City Hall. The City Council, having reviewed the application and supporting documents and reports of the city clerk and other city staff, petitions admitted into evidence at the hearing, and testimony taken during the hearing, makes the following findings. The neighborhood consists of that area located within the city's corporate limits. Sanjeev Dugal testified in favor of granting the license. No other persons testified in favor of or in opposition to the granting of the license. The city clerk's report showed that there are 41 liquor licensed outlets within the neighborhood. Of these, there are 5 fermented malt beverage off-premises license, 1 fermented malt beverage on-premises license, 1 club license, 15 hotel and restaurant licenses, 6 liquor store licenses, 7 tavern licenses, 1 arts license, 3 beer and wine licenses, and 2 lodging and entertainment licenses. The applicant submitted a petition regarding the liquor license application. The petition contained 58 total signatures, of which 56 were residents or business owners or managers from within the neighborhood, 21 years of age or older, in favor of issuance of a liquor license at this location. No remonstrances were submitted. The applicant, through testimony and other evidence, made a prima facie showing that the reasonable requirements of the neighborhood are not being met by existing liquor license outlets, and that the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood favor issuance of the license. Based on the evidence presented at this hearing and the investigative materials provided for the hearing, the City Council finds that the reasonable requirements of the neighborhood are not being met by the existing liquor establishments, that the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood favor issuance of the license to the applicant, and that the applicant officers are of satisfactory moral character. Therefore, the City Council of the City of Trinidad, Colorado, as the local liquor licensing authority, hereby approves the application of BJNY Restaurant Incorporated at 900 West Adams Street in Trinidad, Colorado.
Mr. DeGaulle, good luck to you, and thank you for investing in the city of Trinidad. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate everyone, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Les and everyone else on the council team. I do appreciate all your time, and I look forward to seeing you around.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, on to item 6B of public hearings. A public hearing for consideration of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Trinidad, Colorado, establishing development fees. Hearing is now open. Georgie, are you on tonight?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Municipal Code Chapter 14 allows for reasonable fees sufficient to cover the costs of administration, inspection, publication of notices, and similar matters for development requests. Staff is requesting approval of this ordinance to set these fees as allowed in the land use code. And that's all I had, Mayor. If there are any questions.
Okay. Starting with Ms. Grego, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Mr. Shu?
No, I don't have anything.
Ms. Ogletree?
No questions.
Mr. DeBono?
No, sir.
Mr. Williamson?
No, Mayor.
Mr. Goodall?
Nothing from me, sir.
Okay. And just to let everyone know that if they, anybody listening in, if you wish to find out what the new fees are, please contact City Hall and they will give them to you. At the work session that we had last week, I had Georgie read out what those fees were. So, but they are available to anyone who wants to see what they are. Is there anyone listening in that would like to speak for or against the consideration of the ordinance? Being none, hearing is now closed. On to 6B1, second reading of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Trinidad, Colorado, establishing development fees. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any other discussion?
I just wanted to make sure, Mayor, that we did get notification out to start letting the public know the new fees would be in place.
Okay, that if they have gone out or will they go out?
Yeah, or will they start going out? That's what I want to know. If we haven't started notifying, are we going to get that information out right away?
Okay, would that be a question? Mike, would you have that answer, or would Audra have that answer?
I can answer that. So these fees are technically not new. When we passed the land use code, they weren't specified in that code. Previously, they were in the land use code. They had already been adopted. So we had to go through a process of separating out by ordinance the fees and having you adopt them separately. So they've already been in place for probably, I'm going to say 2 years. And secondly, I advertised after first reading, the public hearing, that identified all of those fees.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
And I think, once this is voted on, I think Audra will post that, I think, in the newspaper anyway, and the fees will also be there.
That's correct.
Okay, call vote, please.
Cabana?
Yes.
Goodall?
Yes.
Grego?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Stu? Williamson,
Yes.
Rico.
Yes. Item 8A, resolution imposing level 2 water restrictions. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Mike, is Mark Vihil listening in to report on that, or do you want to cover that?
I'm pretty sure Mark is on all areas, so we'll let him report on that. Thank you.
Mark, go ahead, please.
Yes, Council, I would like to recommend moving to level 2 water restrictions due to our current drought conditions. About a week ago, we lost our number 5 priority, and also a few days later, we lost number 4 to our water rights going into North Lake. We're currently running on number 3. This amounts to about 6.4 acre-feet of less water than we have going into North Lake right now. Currently, there's about 3 million gallons a day of water going into North Lake Reservoir, and we're releasing about 4.7 million gallons a day leaving North Lake, which we're treating and sending into Trinidad. If these present conditions continue, and we do not increase the water restriction level, North Lake Reservoir may drop approximately 3 to 4 feet in vertical elevation. Depending on the slope of the shoreline, 3 to 4 feet of vertical elevation can be anywhere from 10 feet to 40 feet of shoreline. Right now, if we have another winter this coming year, like we just had, and we lose that much storage in North Lake Reservoir, we can be in trouble next year. So that's why I recommend we try to move forward and conserve the water we have right now, not knowing what kind of winter we're going to have.
Ms. Grego, do you have any questions for Mr. Hill?
Just for education purposes, Mark, when you mention zone 6 going to zone 5 or zone 5 going to zone 4, can you kind of give us a brief description of what that means?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of the easiest way to explain that.
Simple.
Yeah, when it comes to water rights, number 1 priority is your best water rights that you have. That's
okay.
You would lose them the last. You're the first one to draw water.
Okay.
The city has very good water rights, so we lost number 5, and then number 4. We're currently running number 3, and actually we're running number 3 and number 1 right now. Number 2 is going into the Trinidad Lake for storage, so we're running on those 2 right now.
Okay.
So those are about the best water rates you could have. So nobody else has water except for us.
Oh, that was a great explanation, Mark. Thank you. Will those water?
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
Could you please repeat it?
Surrey, calm down, Surrey. Okay, will the water restrictions stay in force during, I know for the remainder of this year, but will we start next year with water restrictions as well?
Yes, if they're passed tonight, they'll remain in place until spring. We would have to revisit it and see what kind of water we have at that time to listen.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Shu?
No, I don't have any questions. I think it's a good idea that we do save as much water as we can.
Ms. Ogletree?
No questions, and it sounds like they're doing a good job managing it, and I appreciate that.
Mr. DeBono?
No questions, sir.
Mr. Williamson?
I have no questions. I do have concerns about, and maybe this is not the place for this discussion, but potentially, I think we need to look at how these are going to be enforced, as we can put restrictions in place. Unless we ensure they are followed, the results will not be what we're desirous of. So I think that warrants some discussion and attention.
What you could do, we could have that discussion brought up maybe in a work session just to get some additional information. Would that suffice, you think, Mr. Williamson?
I think so, yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Mr. Goodall?
Mayor, if I may. Right, just briefly, we do enforce and we do have, the officers on patrol, and also the water department employees are very good at if they see somebody, out there, they'll actually issue citations. Warnings first, citations come later, so we do have, that, and we will, just for public knowledge, newspapers, it will be, enforced.
I appreciate that, Mr. Valentine.
Was that explanation good enough, Mr. Williamson?
I believe so.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Mr. Goodall?
I think it's a great opportunity for a public service announcement on the radio station.
You got it.
Okay. I do have a question for Mr. Vigil. You know, a couple of years ago, we were in this same situation. Do you remember at what level had we lost at 5 and 4 the last time, and how well did the residents of the community step up to help preserve water?
Yeah, I don't know what level party we lost at that time, but I do remember when we went to the same level. Being that this is the second go around, I think it was a good learning experience for everybody at that time. And when we first initiated it, we did have people that we'd stop and talk to, and they just simply said, "Oh, I was unaware." But what we did as a water department, we were polite. We told, you know, I'm just giving you a courtesy to let you know if you get caught. If you catch you could get fined. So they were real acceptance of that. And you know, if we told them we caught him again, that obviously they would get fined. But people, what I've noticed here lately, the public, they seem to be real conscientious. Anybody that's gone for a ride of Highway 12 above Madrid, they used to actually see how little water is coming down that river, and they seem to be real accepting in trying to conserve water right now. I believe it'll help.
Yeah, you know, I think it would be good just for all sakes and purposes if we could find out if we lost the 5 and the 4 the last time around, and give it to Mike, and Mike could get it back to us. That way it kind of gives us an idea where we were at last time at this, you know, in the same situation. It'd be good for council to know.
Mayor, if I may, I can answer that. The last time we were down to the same situation we're in now in priority 3.
Okay.
But with our priority, we were sweeping the entire stream. We were taking everything coming down the stream and taking it into North Lake. We went to the next level of restrictions, whereby right now we're allowing you to water in the morning or the evening, depending on odd and even. The last time we had to go, we went very strict with watering only in the morning from 6 a.m. to 10. Odd and even, no watering in the evening. So we don't want to see that get to that level again, but that's where we were at, and we were actually down to #1 priority and sweeping the entire stream into the lake. So
just for those listening, the restrictions now are the odd numbers can water, from my understanding, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and the evens are Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. Am I correct? I think I am correct on that part of it.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I was muted. You are correct.
And people can water from 6 to 10, and then after 4. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay, that's just for clarification. Okay, if there is no other further discussion, could you please call a vote?
Burrow,
Yes.
Goodall,
Yes.
Randall,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Rico.
Yes. On to item 9, council reports, starting with Ms. Grego.
I have no formal report thank city staff. The flower baskets downtown are gorgeous, and everybody really appreciates them. We enjoy them. Going to work in the morning is an extra joy. And thank you all very much. That's all.
Did you want Mike to report on? I know that KOAA TV was here a few days ago. You want to talk a little bit about that if necessary?
Well, sure I will. You know me, I never miss an opportunity to talk. Well, what happened was KOAA TV contacted the Noah's Ark Animal Welfare Association because they knew that the city was building a new shelter for us down here. So the head of Noah's Ark, who is Mrs. Laurel Young, got a call, and she asked that somebody supportive staff be there from city council and from city administration. So everybody else took 2 steps back, and Mike and I were sitting there talking. We were the last ones in line, so we went and did our civic duty. But I was concerned at first because if you've noticed, sometimes people that come from out of town to report on Trinidad aren't very flattering of the community. But I'll tell you, Allison Zimmerman was the young lady that came down, and she spent at least an hour and a half here in Trinidad. What you see, if you can go on KOAA.com and just search Trinidad marijuana or animal shelter, marijuana money, it'll come up, and she was very flattering. You can tell she's an animal lover. Mike gave a great presentation. She showed little snippets of downtown Trinidad, and it was very, very good. She portrayed us in a very positive light, and I'm going to drop her a note and thank her for that. That's it.
Okay, thank you for representing Trinidad in when they came down, you and Mike. Mr. Shu.
No problem.
No, nothing to really report. I did talk with Mr. Rankin from the college and trying to get him on board with the tree board because we only have 2 members and we need 3 for agenda. And he seems like he's pretty interested, and I'll see if I can work on that some more.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Ms. Ogletree.
I don't have anything to report this time. I'm just happy to be here and not in a typhoon.
Okay. Mr. DeBono.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I spoke with Jim Montoya, who owns and operates the Deluxe Hair Studio, and he had a question for me for the city, and I don't know if this is probably Mike Valentine question. He said when this happened back in early July, when there was a pretty good downpour, a lot of people can't access the back of his establishment for business. So there's a lot of standing water, and I actually went back there and viewed that a few times back in July, and he brought that to my attention. And I didn't know where the easement of his establishment business ends and where the city property line starts. So I thought I'd bring that up.
Well, Mr. DeBono, he's brought that to my attention before, and Mike, can you answer that, please?
I will have to research the easement, but pretty much all that property back there is privately owned. There's a perpetual alleyway, owners on Commercial Street. The perpetual easement is between them and not the city. We have some utilities back there, but we have in the past done some grading. We've added gravel. I'll take a look at it once again.
I think what it is that his, I don't know, Eli, you probably noticed this, that the entrance to his building is actually a little bit lower than the grading of the, I guess, of the back of the entrance, and I think that's the problem. It slopes in the wrong direction, so that would have to be taken care of.
That's right, there's a lot of standing water.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's an answer to that, because if it's higher all the way across, I'm not sure what that answer would be. Okay. Mr. Williamson.
No comments.
Okay. Just let you know, Mr. Goodall, I forgot you, Rusty. Sorry about that.
No, I haven't had much lately, but we did receive email notification. I'm not sure if everybody did, but the CML community meetings that they normally do, we're supposed to host one, I believe, in September. Have all been postponed until 2021. It'll be done virtually. We'll be getting, their staff will be getting hold of us down here, letting us know when that's gonna be, and we can get it passed along for anyone who wants to attend that virtually, but they will not be done in person, any of the community meetings this year.
Okay, thank you for that. For my report, just to let you know, I attended the tourism board meeting last week, and they're doing a pretty good job of containing the revenue for marketing. They're really trying to pinpoint the best place to place the marketing dollars. And I did get an email today from Wade Shelton. Oh, I should have read this earlier, but I forgot to. But I'll read it now. It says, "I hope that you are all doing well. At the very best, Fisher's Peak seems like the one part of the state that isn't on fire right now or incredibly smoky. First, thank you and everyone with the Trinidad for the $50,000 grant toward the master planning effort and implementation. Matt, me, and everyone at the Trinidad, or the TNC and TPL are thrilled that you are all able to do this. And Matt and I already have ideas about how to use it to raise more funding. In the meantime, we would like to get the paperwork in place for the grant and sort out when and how you all would like to provide the funds to our organizations. We figured it would be best to reach out to you first with that question rather than blindly reaching out to anyone else. Any assistance that you can provide is very much appreciated." So Mike, if you want to reach out to Wade and see what the process would be so that they can figure out the best use of that money. Okay. That's all I have. Reports by City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. That virtual meeting that Rusty, I'm sorry, not the virtual, but the district meeting from CML that Rusty spoke of was September 17th. So as he said, council postponed virtual in 2021. The way our lives are going to go for a while, I guess. Just wanted to report on the public forum, Consumption Club discussion on August 24th. At 5 p.m. we posted it. In order to speak, get yourself on the agenda so that we can work through this virtual forum, so to speak. You need to call in and get yourself on the list with Audra. As of this morning, I think we had 7 people is all. It will be advertised again. It's a hot topic, and we hope the media puts it out there some more, and we get a good, lively discussion.
I've been mentioning that 5 times a day on the radio, Mike.
Thank you, Eli. Thanks, Eli, for doing that.
So, 7 people, I appreciate it. So, hopefully they're, planning their date or something, I don't know. But, and then, I emailed you the, letter for the Fox Theater to go for an administrative planning grant, with Department of Local Affairs. There is, the letter is in the packet for mayor's signature. I appreciate everybody who responded. It will help us to move forward with a master plan, which is on the main grants and any grants that we ask for going forward from DOLA. They're going to ask if we did this. So I think it's a wise move, and thank you. That's all I have here.
Okay. And this question, of course, just a recommendation, is next week when we have that virtual forum, that I would recommend that it would be a listening session for us council people and not a response of any kind. I think that would be best, because it's just to listen to what the comments are. The other thing I would like to know from Audra, and hopefully that we will not get someone who will get on and just start getting very belligerent. And if they do, well, I think unless we should be able to just cut them off if necessary, correct?
Audrey, I don't want to cut in front of you if you wanted to respond. Mayor, I will tell you, and it's very awkward and difficult, but people, like in all the CMLs seminars I've attended, people have a right to express themselves. They have a First Amendment right. And I am absolutely with you. And I don't want anyone yelling at council. I don't want anyone being belligerent. I would just say that we have to sometimes kind of err on the side of letting, and hopefully they won't be, and we can give them, like instructions as, at the beginning and as this is going on. I really hope, but I just want you to know that if someone is kind of argumentative and for lack of a better term, somewhat hostile, we have to indulge them to a certain extent. Not harassing talk, not insulting talk, not disparaging or anything like that. But if their tone is angry, we may have to indulge them a bit. But I hear you, Mayor, and I will certainly be listening for those kinds of things to cut people off.
I'd like to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Mayor, I understand the importance of hearing everyone who's going to be speaking, but sometimes I think it's helpful to be able to ask clarifying questions. And I'm wondering if you have a plan for you or the city attorney to do that, just so that we can draw people out. Because sometimes we may not understand exactly what they're saying.
Yeah, I agree with you. If there is some clarity of what they're saying, I think we could ask them to clarify their question. I think that's what you're asking, and we can do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Goodall.
So, in our CIRSA training, they were very clear on this about when you offer people public comment, letting them have their amount of time, not engaging them, but CIRSA was really clear about let them have their time, and when they're done, then they can be cut off. But we need to really pay close attention to that. I agree with Mr. Downs on that.
Mr. Downs, are we going to allow that 5 minutes? Is that what we're going to do?
I think that's a good idea, especially for a lot of people. In addition to the 7 we now have, we have a lot of people signing up. I think that's a good idea, Mayor. Really, people should be able to say what they need to say within 5 minutes.
Okay.
With all due respect.
Okay. Audra, do you have anything to add?
I don't, Mayor. I have no intention of muting anyone that wanted to speak. We need to respect people's First Amendment rights.
Okay. All right. On to Mr. Downs. Do you have anything, Mr. Downs?
I don't, Mayor, council members, thank you. I don't have anything to report.
Okay. On to item 11, executive session for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and or instructing negotiations under CRS section 24-6-402 4E, Monument Lake Resort, Trinidad Youth Club, Golf Course Clubhouse, Central Park, Upper Field. Motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second. Call the vote, please.
Sabano?
Yes.
Rudolph?
Yes.
Randall?
Yes.
Eggleston?
Yes?
Sue?
Yes.
Williamson?
Yes.
Rico?
Yes. And we will reconvene council back in council chambers here in probably about 5 minutes. We'll allow Mr. Murphy to clear his stuff so that we can all get together in council chambers.